again. All right. Is my volume okay? Can you hear me from the other side? If you can hear me from the other side, you either wave at your screen or you type on the chat and tell me something. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, all right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Samuel Jakirayu. Okay, I was asking earlier that the youth that are supposed to attend this particular section, I hope they are all in class and not out looking for any warehouse. Okay, so let us proceed with today's session. As you all know, we have two sessions today, so we'll take these two modules today. This is the second module. The other module will come up, which is supposed to come up Friday. So we have rescheduled it, so it's taking place today. What I want to discuss with us basically is in two sections. I want to talk about feasibility study, and then I'll go to the next section where we'll talk about business plan. The feasibility study has some topics under it, about 4 topics, whereas the business plan also has some topics under it, about 7. So we'll see how we can quickly end up this session on time. And we take a break and come back for the next session. Okay. If I'm to give an analogy, I want to ask us, if you are preparing for a trip, who does a better preparation, the guys or the ladies? I always ask this, you know? So guys or ladies, who prepare best? You don't need to unmute yourself whenever I ask a question like this. What we need to go to your chat and you type something. You type an answer for me, all right? Like Fatima Zara Yusuf typed an answer and she's answered me again. She said, ladies prepare better than I don't know if because she's a lady, she's saying that. So let me hear from other people, whether for a particular trip, who does preparation? Definitely ladies. Okay, Rekia Jibril is saying definitely ladies. Oh, I am still waiting for a man to tell me whether it's ladies or guys, so that I'll be very, very sure. Okay. Mr. Samuel has confirmed that it's ladies. All right. So you all know why they do have to do all this preparation. It means they have done a study. They have carefully looked at what the trip entails. They have looked ahead, what usually happens on a trip. Maybe they have this from their previous experience when they embarked on a particular trip, or maybe someone else has told them about their trip. If you look at it from the men's perspective, they might be looking at it from, okay, whatever I will need, I will surely get it on the way. If I need food, I'll get to a particular village or any place and I'll stop and I'll surely get food to eat. If I need to, if I'm tired or I need water, I can stop and all of that. Or when I get to my destination, I will surely find whatever I want. But some ladies don't see it from that angle. They don't see it as when we get to our destination, we're going to find whatever we need. No, because when you get to your destination, you're not sure whether you find that. So that's one of the analogy we give for feasibility study. We try to look at it from, if you are embarking on a trip, you do some preparation, you do some study, you carefully think about it. So ladies carefully think about their trips before engaging on the trip. I will also implore you to carefully think about your business before embarking on the business. That's for those of you that are starting afresh. But for some of you that are looking for expansion, I believe you have already done your feasibility study. For those of you that are looking for to add a new unit to your business, you also need to do a feasibility study, just like the people that are starting business afresh. Otherwise, recall that this is a loan. If you take this loan and your business fails, you will still have the obligation to settle this loan. Someone is going to be asking you unpleasant questions about these loans. So you have to be very careful. What we advise people is that at this stage that you have not written your business plan yet, If you carry out the feasibility study and you realize that you have a brick wall or you're facing some challenge, difficulties getting through with this feasibility study, we advise that you go back again, re-strategize, come up with another feasibility study. Okay, let me bring up the other an example now. Someone wants to make a machine that can feed people. You need to put this machine on your desk or your dining table, and then it feeds you. You put food there, it feeds you. It sounds like a brilliant idea, right? Will people buy this particular device when you manufacture it? So the business idea is manufacture a machine that can feed people, then sell these machines to people that want to buy it, that don't want to use their hands or calories to eat, and then they can enjoy it. Now, we need to do a feasibility study about this particular machine. One of the criteria we'll be checking is how many people will likely buy. And when we are doing this analysis, we want to check what would make people buy this particular device. The first question we want to ask ourselves is, do people want to eat, have machines feed them when they can eat? Do people enjoy machines feeding them, or they enjoy using their hands or cutlery? Let me hear your reaction. Please, let me hear your reaction. Which would you prefer? Do you want to eat your food being fed with a machine, or you want to eat your food using your hands or your cutlery? Let me see the answers I'll get. The answers I'll get is somewhat like the feasibility study that we're doing at the moment. So we are doing a feasibility study now on a machine. So we want to study the machine, we want to see whether people will likely buy. So I'm going to use my class, the people in the class, the participant now, to help me answer the question. Let's see whether the machine is something that is going to sell. So, all right, one reaction has come on the chat already. Let me see what the person is saying. Okay, someone is saying using calories are actually better. Okay, that I want to assume that she is saying she prefers using calories. That means my machine will not be sold to her. Okay, if she's the only one and the rest of you will buy my machine, I think I can face the rest of you. But let me hear your reaction. Do you want to use a machine to feed yourself, or you want to use hands or calories? Calories, hands are better. Okay, one more reaction and I proceed. All right, let me just go ahead. From the few reactions I've gotten, it's obvious that nobody will likely buy my machine. So when you do just that kind of feasibility study, it tells you that somebody will not, okay, somebody is saying hands, okay. So overall, I want to assume that everyone is saying that our hands are better. That is a feasibility study, a short feasibility study we have done for a machine. It's quite simple because you could all react to it, you could all understand it, but there are some businesses that are more complex than this that an ordinary questionnaire might not be able to solve. And so you have to go deep and collect information to know whether this particular one will work. You analyze this information, and then you will know whether it will work. So with that, let me proceed with my today's class. As I earlier said, first section is what? Feasibility study. The first section is feasibility study. And let's look at how many items we have under, how many topics we have under feasibility study. We have 4 topics under feasibility study, and they are, by the way, I think, did I give you any, have I given you any quiz to answer in the class? No. All right, let's do this quiz quickly. I don't expect you to pass this quiz, right? The important thing about this quiz is that if you are not able to pass it, that means you likely listen to me. But if you're able to pass it, maybe you end up disturbing our class by talking, chatting with other people, because that's what I see some people do. When you are taking them in a class that they are familiar with, is something they all know. Okay, so on the chat, just type number 1 and then write in your own words whatever you think feasibility study could mean. Write whatever you think it could mean. Then after that, type number 2, right? Then differentiate feasibility study from a business plan. Then type number 3, what are the reasons why we should do a feasibility study. I'm just checking the preparedness of my class. With that, I will know easily what to discuss. Whatever your answers will be, it won't stop me from proceeding with my discussion, right? But it gives me a feel that, okay, no, this the class, they know what they are doing. And I will expect, when you are dealing with a class that know what they are doing, we will expect more advanced questions. So I'm trying to prepare myself in case I'll be receiving very serious questions about your businesses. All right, the study of the business you intend to go into. All right, feasibility study, the study of the business you intend to go into. Okay, that's for number one, I believe. Number two, I hope someone is not saying in the background that, oh, we're here to learn. Why are you asking us questions? I don't want to answer any question. Just talk. I will talk, but just answer what you can. If you can't answer anything, you write number one, nil, number two, nil. That's all. Right. A feasibility study is an analysis that takes all projects' important factor into account. Great. It's another point. A feasibility study is analyzing what is relevant to your project. Great. All right. Okay, that's fine. What about what? How do we differentiate between a feasibility study from a business plan? Feasibility study from a business plan. Okay. Is the study undertaken to understand the risk, investment, possible outcome? Wow. I hope I'm in the class that we can discuss. Okay, let me proceed now. Okay, let me proceed. All right, so while if you still have your answers, just keep bringing them in. So what we want to discuss under this section, like I told you, we have two sections, business plan and this one, and this feasibility study. So under this, we want to discuss four items. The first is, what is a feasibility study? We want to give a description or a definition that will help us answer what the feasibility study is. For that one, feasibility study, most of you have answered greatly. I'm not going to spend time on it. The answers are great. The next thing in that particular topic is, what is a feasible business? We want to know what a feasible business is, so that if we have an idea of what a feasible business is, we also know what feasibility study intends to achieve. Two is for us to look at what are the objectives, why is it important, and what are the shortcomings that we have noticed with feasibility study. The third topic is the practical side. How do you go about a feasibility study generally? And the fourth topic is, when you are done with your feasibility study, there are some components, some items that we're going to see in the report of that feasibility study. So those components, we will look at them. So we will now look at the chat reactions quickly, and then I proceed into the first item, first topic. Okay, I have number two now. Okay, I've gotten other reactions. Let me, if you can read them all, fine. Number two, feasibility study is different from a business plan because you analyze instead of plan your business to know what is important to your customers and your business. Okay, feasibility study is knowing the business you are going into, while business plan is how you are going to do it. Okay, great. I like that one. I like that one. Two, feasibility study is making research, while business plan is what you intend doing. Okay, another analogy we can bring to it is, if you're doing a feasibility study for where you want to live, you can go around, check up a place, and then see pieces of land that you could possibly buy. When you see a piece of land you could possibly buy, it doesn't mean that you have bought the land. Then you go back home and do a plan of buying the land, and then a plan of the building you're going to put on top of that piece of land. That is your business plan. All right. So that with that, I think we have a clear idea of the difference between the two. All right. So what's a feasibility study? What we try to bring out here is the keywords are one. It's an analysis. You must do an analysis. Like we did an analysis, a very simple analysis on the feeding machine. We should we use our hands, or do people want to use their hands, or people want to use machine? And most people say they want to use their hand. If I would ask another question like, would you want to drive a car or ride a horse? Most likely the answers I'll get is no, I prefer a car, right? So it's okay for you to go into the sale of cars than for you to go into the sale of horses. The other word here we have is viability of an idea. So you're analyzing an idea. What's the purpose of your analysis? The purpose of analysis is to check whether your idea is viable. That's the simple word we can use for it. To expand this thing, to expand this particular is for us to know that feasibility study focuses on helping to answer one question, whether you should proceed with the idea or not. Anything you do around the feasibility study or any study you just to help you answer whether you should proceed with the proposed project. That is already a feasibility study. Now, if you look at it again, we are saying feasibility study looks at the viability of an idea earlier with an emphasis on the identifying problem. An attempt to answer the main question, should we proceed with it? What are the potential problems that you will see? What are the potential problems that you will see? In our analysis, we were not even going into potential problems. I think in one class, I faced this issue. Somebody brought out potential problems with the machine. Is the machine going to be powered? The feeding machine is going to be powered by light or by solar or by battery. Uh, what if it gets faulty? How do you use it? And all sorts of those questions were coming up, and questions including hygiene were also coming up. How do you wash this thing after you are done using it? So we're having some of these problems coming. Once you identify that there's a problem of power, you might go ahead to think, okay, why don't I put batteries there after a while, right? When you identify potential problems when you begin the business, and then you attempt to go ahead and answer that, all right, we'll go ahead with this business, but this and this are the things that we'll do. You are, in essence, doing a feasibility study. All right, from my discussion so far, I'm sure you'll be able to use the word to define your feasibility study. And those of you that have defined it for me already, you can check whether it meets some of these criteria. There are other things when you are doing a feasibility study. Some components that you must note. We have about 5 of them. Some of them are like rules. Some of them are just like advice. But before that, let me see if I can go into what constitutes a feasible business. When I talk about what constitutes a feasible business, then I'll tell you what the things you should know. For you to say your business is feasible, it should have these 4 criteria. What are these? The business will generate adequate cash flow and profit. Someone will tell me, why are you using cash flow and profit? Why don't you say the business will generate adequate cash flow, number 1. Point 2, the business will generate adequate profit. And then you just go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to give you a short story there, and I'll hear your reactions on that quickly. Number 2, the business should withstand the risk it will encounter. Watch out for this one carefully. We say the business will withstand, meaning that there are risks that are definitely going to come. It will withstand whatever risk that is going to encounter. That's a feasible business. Any business that cannot withstand any risk is not, it's a jeopardy of extinction, it's a jeopardy of dying. Another one is it should remain viable in the long term. It's not a business of one day. Like some people hike fuel price whenever there is scarcity. That's not a great business. That's not a feasible business. Once the prices normalize, you are back to square one. You see some of these people with kegs of petrol standing on the way, and they think that this business, those things they don't withstand time, and so you don't consider them as feasible business. The last one here, we say it should meet the goals of the founder. You intend that you want when you started this business. It should meet the goal of the founders. Your goal could be the purpose, the strategic purpose you used or you started the business with. So if you up all these criteria, then we'll say you are good to go. On the first point there, I said you should generate adequate cash flow and profit, right? Let me give you a short one. Let me use two people's name that I can see here. Okay, I can use middle name so that I don't get confused. Okay, all right. I see Christopher here, and I see no, Christopher is not connected. You see, Christopher is connected. All right, I see Christopher here, and I see Bayo. All right, so let's look at these two people. Oh no, let me use Christina in case they'll say I'm biased. All right, Christina and Bayo. I see two of them here. Let's say Christina and Bayo, they decide to. All right, thank you, Christopher. I can see your hand now. Okay, you are in class. Thanks. All right, so I see okay, let me say Christina and Bayo, or Christina and Christopher. Fine. Christina and Christopher, they decide to sell oranges. They go to the market, bought oranges for 10 naira each. 10 oranges. That's 10 times 10, right? It's 100 naira. So both of them spend 100 naira on their oranges. And then they go back to the market, they decide to sell their oranges. Christopher decided to sell his orange for 100 naira each. So he sold them for 100 naira times the total amount he got, 100 naira times 10, that's 1,000 naira. Okay, then Christiana sold her oranges for 200 each. So 200 times 10, that's 2,000 naira. In terms of profit, who made more profit? Christopher's profit should be 1,000 minus 100. That's 900, right? And Christiana's profit should be 2,000 minus 100. That's 1,900. But there's something I didn't tell you. Christiana sold all her oranges for 200, all on credit. She's expecting the money to be paid at a different date. But Christopher sold all of his for cash. Which of these business models do you prefer? Which of these business models do you prefer? Am I getting? Let me hear your reaction. You prefer Christina's business model or you prefer Christopher's business model? Recall that, well, Christina, we asked her, she said she's going to be paid very soon. Which one do you prefer? Which one do you prefer? Write it for me. Let me see. Which model do you prefer? Hope I'm being heard. I hope internet is cooperating. All right, I can hear now. Someone prefers Christopher's business model. Okay. They have picked business model. Only Christopher's business model they want. Okay. The others are silent. Even Christopher is not even telling me whether he prefers his own model. I'm not getting reaction from Christopher in the class. I'm not even getting reaction from Christina in the class. I'm not getting reaction from Toluhi in the class. I'm not getting reaction. All right. Most people want to, a number of people go for Christopher because that's generating what? That's generating cash flow. But your business should generate both cash flow and profit. there should be a balance between the two. When you are able to strike this balance between the two, then we will say, we can now say that your business is adequate cash flow and profit. All right, someone says prefers Fatima's own, sorry, prefers Tova's own. Okay. All right, so let's proceed with some of the things you must note when you are dealing with feasibility study. The first thing is almost like a rule. We say anybody with a business idea should conduct a feasibility study, period. Once you come up with any feasibility idea, any business idea, you want to sell, you want to do anything, do a feasibility study. What for? To determine the viability of the idea before you proceed with developing the business. So for some of you here, if you have not done your feasibility study and you are still at the idea stage, I would like you to go ahead and do your feasibility study. When you do your feasibility study, then you can now know whether you should proceed with the business. The next thing to note is feasibility studies address things like where and how the business will operate. When we say where and how, for some of you going into farming, let's say you want to farm. You want to farm in Bogolada or you want your farm to be in central area? Where should your farm be? Because there are a couple of free plots, undeveloped plots around town that have not been that are not being used at the moment. Is that where you want your farm to be, or you want to look for an expanse of land somewhere in Kwali, somewhere after Buari to cultivate your goods? Your feasibility study is going to address things like that. Where you know why some people will consider their farm to be in the city center, because they feel that the buyers are in the city center, so it gets to them fast. Whereas some people will say, no, if I put in the city center, I'm going to struggle with regulatory authorities. I'm going to have issues with where to refine them, where to store them, and all of that. Your feasibility study should be able to answer all of that. Another thing your feasibility study will tell us, it will give us an in-depth details about how the business uh, will how the business how to determine if the business determine if and how it can succeed. So it will give us more detail. The other point is that it serves as a valuable tool for developing a winning business plan. With your feasibility study, when you're writing your business plan, it becomes a lot more easier. Without a feasibility study, you struggle with writing your business plan. And then the last point to note is that feasibility study can be used in many ways, but primarily it focuses on your business venture. Okay, so these are some of the things you should note when you're dealing with your business, when you're dealing with your feasibility study. That's the topic one. Topic one, I said we'll talk about what feasibility study is and what good business. We have done all of that, and we also said we'll talk about the next thing, the next topic, which is next topic is what? We want to look at the objectives, we want to look at the shortcomings, we want to look at the importance of feasibility. So, why do you do feasibility study? Why do you do feasibility study? It's obvious. First reason, to raise funds. Nobody just starts feasibility study for no reason. Most people start feasibility study because they want to raise funds. The other point is when you go into the nitty-gritties of your feasibility study, it will help you determine the optimum facility mix that can help you maximize your revenue. What are we saying? Maybe I should illustrate it like this. You want to go into transport business, you identify a particular rural area, heights there, to take people from the rural area into maybe a large market, nearby market. Should you buy 10 vehicles or should you buy 10 bikes? When you buy 10 bikes and you do your calculation and realize that people leave that particular village, one person leave the village in an hour's time, within a space of 1 hour. So in a day, you should have just 10 people leaving that village. Why do you want to buy 10 bikes? you wouldn't need to buy 10 bikes because 10 people leave the village. You need to buy maybe 2 bikes. When one bike picks the first person, that by the time the other person is ready to go, that first bike should be back. For any reason, if that bike is not back, then this other standby bike can take the next person who is ready. So that's how you maximize your revenue from the facilities that you. Okay, point 3 is for everybody to agree. Everybody, like this particular one, you do a feasibility study to help everybody agree to these particular elements of the project. Like in your interview stage, they're going to ask you questions. I mean, Niger Microfinance Bank is going to call you, they're going to ask you questions. And the question they're asking you is to enable all of the parties, everyone, to agree to the elements of the project, for everyone to agree to it. And another one is it forms the basis for your initial markets and project planning. Initial market. For as far as this course is concerned, this particular discussion this morning is concerned, anytime you hear market, the definition we should ascribe to it is number of people going to buy your product. Number of people going to buy your product, or number of people buying your product, number of people that will buy your product. So we say it forms a basis for your initial number of people that will buy your product, and then your project planning. So when you do a feasibility study, it will help you know, okay, from this area, I should be able to get like 50 people buying this product. I should be able to get like 10 people buying this product. How do you do that? You do that from, you try to check the number of people living in that area. You check the number of people that will need your product, and then you narrow in on an initial market projection. All right, the last point, which is a little contrary to what we have been saying, is that in some cases, it provides the argument for business closure or change of use or application, meaning that, or let me put it this way, you could shut down your business and come back later and realize that someone has started the same business and the person is prospering. It means that you didn't do a feasibility study before shutting down your business. Because if you do a feasibility study before shutting down your business, the feasibility study will tell you that you are not supposed to shut down that business. Another thing is, on the other side, is that you could also realize that you have been struggling with the business, losses are accumulating, the business is not moving ahead. You could go ahead to do a feasibility study to find out whether that business, whether you should keep supporting that business. And it provides an argument for you whether you should go ahead and close that business. Maybe people are no longer interested in that product, people are no longer using that product. For example, the video player, I think it's called VHS or something. How many people buy it anymore? Nobody buys it anymore. So people are moving up to other things, and now what they do is they watch even they use Netflix, they use what to watch their movies. So they don't need those stuff anymore. So if you're into that business, you should consider shutting down. All right, the next one is our shortcomings. What could be the shortcomings of a study? We talked about the objectives of 5 of them. Now we have what the shortcomings that we have noticed with so many feasibility studies. Why are we discussing these shortcomings? We're discussing them because we want you to, when you are out there doing the feasibility study, or when you are neck deep into your research, your Google, trying to search, trying to ask people, you should note some of these things so that they don't become an issue. One, overestimated market potential. What is market? I said number of people that will buy from you, right? So some people may overestimate the people that will buy from them. For example, somebody might say that, okay, Abuja and its environment, about 5 million people. So I'm going to start a business of sachet water or pure water or bottled water. So 5 million people will likely buy from me. If I make profit of 1 naira or 2 naira from 5 million people, I'll be getting between 5 million and 10 million every month. That's great. But there is a question you have not asked yourself. Will it be these 5 million people that will be drinking your bottled water or your sake water? So if you go ahead to use 5 million as your market potential, you may have overestimated it. That takes us to the second point, underestimated underestimated competition. In this 5 million that you think that you're going to sell to, are you the only one selling this pure water? Are you the only one selling this sachet water? Are you the only one selling this bottled water? There could be other competitors too. So what do I say? You may have underestimated, you may have assumed that nobody else is doing this business with me. Right? So you may have somewhat underestimated your competition. And the next one is related to the market size. You want to produce 5 million. You want to produce 5 million. We say planned capacity is not compatible with market size. What is the market size? You had assumed that your market size is 5 million. Do you have the capacity to supply 5 million monthly? You have things on ground to supply 5 million. It can go either way. Sometimes some people have things that can supply 5 million. Sometimes some people have machines that can not supply 5 million. Your market might be 1 million and you go and buy equipment for 5 million. You have tied down too much. Or your market might be um, up to 1 million. Meanwhile, you went and bought small machines that just produce a 100,000. You have to be careful there. Then let's look at another thing that people underestimate. That is importance of management and manpower. People tend to underestimate management. Some assume that, oh, when we get to the bridge, we cross it. Or some people say, anybody can do this. Or sometimes they'll say, no, there are too many people without jobs. If I call anyone, you should do it. No, you should know this clearly very well. Those of you that have vehicle, bikes, phone, or cars, you know that you don't take it to any kind of mechanic. You must take it to somebody that is skilled. So you should consider putting your business in the hands of people that are skilled in that area. Don't also assume that you are highly skilled in your business. Just because you have an idea of that business doesn't mean you are skilled. You may be skilled in the technicalities, the engineering section, but are you skilled in the marketing section? Another thing is market projections are based on insufficient data. That's almost like a planned capacity not compatible with market size. But what we're saying here specifically is that people may project that the market should grow, whereas the market is going declining. Should also look at. Then another point is overestimated availability of infrastructure. Let me give you two examples quickly. One, what you are producing, after you have produced them, where do you keep them? You have a place to store them. Don't just assume you want to produce 5 million every month and supply. Do you have a place to store them? Do you have a place to keep them? As infrastructure. And then for those of you going into farming, you go and get like 20 hectares, you get 30 hectares, right into a hinder path that there's no road to, or there are no bridges across the streams that take you there. Are you sure your feasibility study has not overestimated availability of infrastructure? So you should look at these issues, whether there are adequate infrastructure. All right, so those are some of the common shortcomings we notice. The other one we're going to is importance. Why is it important? Why is feasibility study important? First, it gives us the list in details all the things that we need. That detail that you need for your business will come when you do a study. Number two, like I said earlier, I said it helps you identify logistical issues and other business related problems and solutions. The logistical issues could be transportation, could be storage, like we mentioned. Where do you store your farm produce? How do you transport your farm produce to the market? And even security issues, how do you ensure that some people don't cut away with your goods from the farm? These issues, you are going to look at them carefully. Would it be that when you harvest, what do you do? Or are you going to bring in machines to quickly harvest? Or are you going to deploy security men into your farm and all those? You're going to look at it. Another one is it will help us develop marketing strategy. What marketing strategies should we use? There are a whole lot of marketing strategies. there are a whole lot of ways to approach the market. Some of them could be market penetration, meaning selling more to those you are already selling to. Another one could be market development, meaning you take your product to newer markets that don't have your product before. And even sometimes we could even look at product development, meaning you bring in a new product and sell to those that you already have. Okay, another point is it serves as a solid foundation for developing your business plan. We have repeated this over and over. So you should know immediately that as you are doing your business plan, the first thing is for you to go ahead and do a feasibility study. Okay. All right, so we're done with the first two, so two more to go in this feasibility study. Uh, how about how to go about the feasibility study? Practically now, before you begin writing or before you even go into the field, there are things that you should identify. The first is that you should identify how, where, and who you intend to sell your product to. I take it again. The first one is where am I selling my product? Another one is who is going to buy my product? Another one is how do I sell my product? How do I sell my product could be do I sell them in wholesale? Do I sell them in big packs? Or do I go to supermarkets and buy fridge for them and put my product in those branded fridge, refrigerator? Or you look at it from, okay, where do I sell it? Should I face north? Should I face east? Should I face south? Then you look at whom. We will look at that whom carefully. The whom has to do with, are you going to sell to ladies? Are you going to guys? Are you going to sell to high income earners or you're going to sell to low income earners? Are you going to sell to old people or you're going to sell to babies? So these are some of the things that we're going to look at. Then another one is assess your competition. Be very careful with your competition. Assess your competition. You're not just the one out there. It's a free for all market. It's a market where people try to ensure that they get the best, they get most from it. So you should assess what he's doing, assess how he's doing, and try to bring out something better than that person. And that's why you see most governments try to promote competition. The purpose of promoting competition is essentially to ensure that the innovation is promoted as far as possible. Then another one is figure out how much money you need to start your business. So figure out how much you need to start is a lot easy for people. They get the invoice for the material, but how much you need to keep the business running until it's established is something that you have to be careful with. Careful in the sense that you just have to sit down carefully and look at it. Some of the monies you need to keep the business running could be insurance, it could be salaries, it could be the purchases, even the things that you need if you're into manufacturing, the things that you need to purchase. You need to get all that money and add it to how much you need to start the business. It is the whole of that amount that you need. And when you get the whole of that amount, it's easier for you to apply for that particular figure than for you to go ahead and apply for just, oh, I need rent, I need equipment, and you will be locked somewhere. I mean, you won't be able to carry on your business. So these are some of the things that to note when you are going about your business. There's one more thing that I want to discuss before I leave this topic. Let me see, somebody chat me up. I don't know whether it's a question. Okay. Okay, some people can't hear any sound at all. I don't know if it applies to everyone. Uh, I will raise my voice a little, but if you cannot hear, check your audio. Check your audio. But your request is that at the end of this session, you are definitely going to get two packages. The first package is we'll give you this slide in. We'll put this slide on the WhatsApp chat for you to download and look at for reference purposes. And we're going to put the YouTube link to this particular presentation. So you go back to YouTube and play it. If there's anything that catches your fancy, you'll be able to hear me over and over again without coming to look for me. All right, back to what I wanted to discuss. I said uh, uh, I want us to talk about something, and that's what pre-feasibility study. You know, I've been asking you, go out and do feasibility study, go and do your feasibility, go and read, go and do this and all of that. All of this is quite time consuming. All of this is strenuous. All of this sometimes will cost money. Because of that, most of us have come up with what we refer to as pre-feasibility study. Uh, Depending on the size of your business, there are some feasibility studies that can take years, can take a year two to conduct. There are some feasibility studies that are quite expensive, like when you go into mining, when you go into uh, a whole lot of large business. What do we advise generally? Whether your business is small, whether your business is big, we advise that you do a pre-feasibility study. So before proceeding with a full-blown feasibility study, you may want to do some pre-feasibility analysis of your own. Because if you find out earlier on that the proposed business idea is not feasible, it saves you time and money, obviously. Number two, a pre-feasibility study may be conducted first to help you sort out some relevant scenarios. Scenarios like what if this, what if that, what if that. It helps you sort out some of this. And if the findings lead you to proceed with the main feasibility study, you would have resolved some basic issues. There are some scenarios that you won't bother talking about because you would have discovered from the pre-feasibility that those scenarios are not reasonable. Another advice is that you could even ask a consultant to help you with the pre-feasibility study. Or if you are engaging a consultant to do that, do it alongside with that consultant so that you'll be able to see some of the business nitty-gritty. All right, so that is it about the third topic in this session. Let's go to the last topic in this, which is components of the feasibility study. What are the components of it? So we are saying that at minimum, I should find these 6 elements in your feasibility study report. I should find these 6 elements in your feasibility. So number one, a description of the business. By description of the business, I mean you should describe what you want to sell, what you are offering, the product and services, and tell me how you intend to deliver it to the people that will need it. That's what we are saying under this point. So, what will be your business model? What's your strategy? You can go ahead and describe it here. We are not particularly interested in who you are, who your business is. That is, I'm not interested in saying, you are Mr. Lagbaja Limited, you want to know. I'm not interested in this person is starting this. No. At this stage, you just go ahead and talk about the business idea. Number two, market feasibility. The market feasibility, it includes a description of the industry. What's an industry? Industry is those that produce similar goods. We have the industry of cell phone, we have the industry of automobile, we have the industry of the agri industry, we have the banking industry, or the finance industry. So all of you that are producing about the same item, the same related item, the same similar item, you all fall into the same industry. So those of whatever your industry is, whatever you are producing, if you are going into agri industry, talk about the agri industry generally. If you are going into production of maize, talk about the maize itself, talk about the corn itself. And we want you to also mention the current market, what's going on in the market today. Of course, if you are talking about today, usually I expect you to talk about what's happening in the future, what's likely going to happen in the future. How do we talk about this thing? You talk about it in relation to the population. That's why you hear people talking about, okay, today we're 200 million. By 2050, will be 300 million or whatever projection it is. That projection, you use it to know what your possible future market potentials look like. Another point under market feasibility is competition. You want to know your competition. You want to know what they are doing. You want to know their weaknesses. Uh, Thereafter, look at your sales projections. You know, the other one we're talking about market potential, right? Meaning who are those that will likely buy from you. But this time around, we're talking about your sales projection. the people that you think you will sell to. Go ahead and talk about your potential buyers too, and you can wrap up your market. Then the next one is your technical feasibility. Your technical feasibility gives us how you intend to deliver this particular product or the service. Under this, we'll be interested in the technology you use. We'll be interested in where you locate your business. We'll be interested in the transportation that you intend to deploy, the labor, and even the kind of material, including where you intend to source your materials from. As for labor, why are we bringing it here? Why are we not taking labor into organizational feasibility? We are putting labor here because there are certain skilled labor that you need them under technical feasibility. Those ones are technical specialists. That's why we classify them under your technical feasibility. Another one is your financial feasibility. Here, you look at how much money do you need. We discussed this earlier on. How much do you need, the total amount of money you need to do this business, including how much you need to keep the business running. Then, where are you going to get the money from? For us in this particular batch or this particular class or discussion, we know that our first source of capital, we're talking about the NISA microfinance. You will also recall that, okay, they are offering 10 million or 5 million as the case might be. This amount, as your business expands, will no longer be enough. And you can go ahead and ask money from other people that are ready to finance it. Those people, like we said, they will ask for your financial feasibility. They want to know. Maybe your business expands to the extent that you're looking for 50 million or looking for 100 million. They want to see your financial feasibility. What do you need this money for? Where do you want to source it from? Is it from them alone? Is it that you're bringing your own, or you're getting from friends and family, or you're getting some from another bank and all of that? Then another one that is important under financial feasibility is the returns on investment. The returns on investment. How much are you going to get back on the total investment? Tell us about it. Is nothing going to come in? Is something going to come in? You could use any of those popular three ways of assessing return on investment: the NPV, the payback period, or the IRR. Okay, the other one is your organizational feasibility. This one deals more with your corporate infrastructure or your corporate structure. And it could be how is your entity registered? Is it a sole proprietorship? Is it a partnership? Is it a limited liability? And then what's your organizational structure? You want to see it. You have a CEO, you have an MD, or you are the entrepreneur. Everybody reports to you. You want to also know people's professional background and want to know how the founder intends to contribute. So basically, under this organizational feasibility, we're saying, how do you organize the business in such a way that it can work? You have a strategy already, but how do you deploy this strategy into work? How do you deploy this strategy to work for it? Then conclusion, you give us your conclusion. Your conclusion is discuss how the business can succeed. And please be very honest here, because investors will just read your conclusion and agree with you. They are going to look at how you arrive at it from the previous area that you have written about, the market, technical, financial, and organizational. They're going to look at those. Okay, let me put it this way for us to easily remember. You could tell yourself it's M, right? 4M. First is market. The second one is material. The third one is money. The last one is men, so or man, which is why you can remember. So they are going to look at the data you arrived at under those things to analyze whether your conclusions are reasonable or unrealistic. With that, you are free to conclude your feasibility study report. Once we have all of this in it, we are good to go. So let me quickly throw some, if you like, on it before I conclude it. All right, for market analysis, you look at the target population. Show us something from your market study. Show us the target population. That's how many people are there. Then segment this market. Segment the market into gender, that is male, female, or segment the market into class, high income earners or low income. Then, or you look at it from the children, the youth, is it middle age or is it the age? Look at it from that area. And afterwards, give us the strategy for each of these people. Like if you are looking at it from the youth, what's the strategy for reaching out the youth? You know, most of them are on their phone these days, meaning that if you need to get to them, you need to pass through a way that you can reach their phone. Maybe Instagram, maybe WhatsApp, maybe one of the social medias may reach out to this group faster than if you are discussing maybe those in the age group. Like those in the 70s, those in their 80s, you want to sell something to them. If you are depending on using social media, it may not work. All right. Now, the next one is analyze your competition in terms of how many of them are there. Look for what buying patterns people have. How do people buy from them? Look at their strength, look at their weaknesses, look at their opportunities, and particularly face their challenges and face their weaknesses. Maybe you'll be able to come up with something that they can't offer. Maybe your competitors sell only in bulk. If they sell only in bulk, what do you do? You may go ahead and reduce the size of the things that you sell. Or they have certain challenges, they cannot reach a certain area, you have access to those areas, then you reach those areas. All right, the other one is under the technical analysis, we say we want to know your location, we want to know the equipment, the type. Look at your suppliers to who is supplying this thing. Look at your personnel plan, that is the technical staff. What position will you give them? What salary will they earn? What are their qualifications? Look at your raw materials too, and look at where you are sourcing them from. Okay. The other one is financial analysis. Financial analysis where you place money to the earlier two that we have talked about, the market and then the technical. Under technical, we talked about your equipment. So how much will it cost? How much raw material will you need? How much salaries will you need? Then for your sales, you go back and look at how much can I sell this and what will be the price? How many people will likely buy from me? These are some of the things we'll see in your financial. Organizational analysis, we said this involves questions such as whether the system has enough support to be implemented successfully, meaning whatever you have existing, if it's an existing business, and need to support this new business you are bringing in. Would it bring too much change? You know, you can bring in staff that the other staff are not happy with, and your business could be shaky, could run through tough times. So you have to check out all those organizational issues. Maybe you need to put up the branch somewhere so that these two group of staff will not interfere. These are things that you need to come up with in terms of your organizational analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I think I'm sure this is the end of section one. What we needed to do is just quickly answer these questions and we'll use it as our break. So I'll go to the chat now and look at what everyone is saying. Okay. All right. So can you answer the questions now? What you need to do for me is to type one. When you type one, you will answer, should every business have a feasibility plan? Let's have the answer. Should every business have a feasibility plan? You go ahead and type number two and you write relevance or importance of feasibility plan. Number three, from this lesson, which aspect of the feasibility plan can you prepare? From what we have discussed, which one can you do? And lastly, for which aspect will you require help of others? The ones that you know you're not grounded. All right, the first answer just came in from Augustine. He said, yes, it's very important. The other Fatima is saying, yes, every business should have a feasibility plan. Okay, great. Let's have your number two and number three and number four. I'll take this time as our break.
Hello, I hope you're hearing me. I'm sorry, but I'm having a difficult time typing on the chat.
All right, gentlemen, thanks. I can hear your reactions. Um, we have reactions from feasibility. I hear yes, it's critical in determining the viability of the venture for one. Yes, it's critical. Other people say feasibility plan is important because it identifies logistical and other business related problems and solutions. Uh, we hear we hear yes, it's necessary to for good business. All right, so I can do everything except the components of the feasibility study. All right, okay. If somebody say technical feasibility study, meaning maybe that's the side he can do, or that's the only one he has difficulty with. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's the end of section one. Let's go to section two quickly. Thank you for, I thank all those that have contributed. So section two is what? Business plan. In this business plan, we have 7 sections or 7 topics. So we'll quickly look at all these 7 topics and then close for the day. We want to see how we can leave here before, okay, we want to see how we can close this section by 12 so that we can take a break and prepare for the next section. All right, business plan. What are the topics we have here? We have 7 topics under this one. What's an executive summary? What's a business description and mission statement? Business components and strategy and value proposition is the third thing. We have a market summary and competition. We have competitive advantage, what risk, perceived. All right, I can see someone writing on my screen. Let me quickly see how I can remove what has been written on my screen. Okay. All right, someone wrote on my screen. All right, they are gone. Fine. Okay, so let's take the first one. The first one is your executive summary. What are we saying? We say your business plan should have an executive summary. But the interesting thing about this executive summary that comes as number one is that your executive summary is what you do at the end of the day. That's the last thing you are going to do. But it's the first thing that you're going to place uh, on the document. That's the first thing the executives want to see. The executive wants to quickly look at it. We have it's a summary of all that you have written. Everything you have written in your business plan, you put the summary. So we have 2 recommendations. One, make it as catchy as possible. And 2, keep it as short as possible. Maybe I suggest you leave it at just 1 page. 1 page is fine. Find a way of capturing all the information you need concerning that relates to the business plan on 1 page in a short, sharp way that someone can look at it and summarize your business. That's your executive summary. So what time do you write it at the end of your business plan? What should it look like? It should be catchy. How large or long should it be? 1 page, fine. If you go 2 page, 3 page, fine. But my recommendation is 1 page. The next thing is we say business description and the mission statement. Yeah, it's here that you describe the business in full. This time around, you're going to tell us whether the business is limited liability. You're going to tell us whether the business is partnership. You're going to tell us the prime mover who is starting this business, how he conceived the project. You're going to describe where the business is located, the product the business is going to be selling. You talk about if the business has been in existence before now. You generally talk about the business. Then you go ahead to also mention what is the purpose of this business. When we say purpose, we're talking about what's your mission statement? Where are you going? What do you intend to do? That's your mission statement. What's your mission statement? Uh, Clearly state your company's long-term mission. Right, I'm reading from the screen now. Try to use words that will help direct the growth of your company, but be as concise as possible. Right, so we have your mission statement. Sometimes it shouldn't be more than a paragraph. A very interesting mission statement. sentences or two. That's fine. All right, by way of clarification, uh, what's even a vision statement? Some people put vision statements for us. We don't need the vision statement. We don't even need your core value. But the more robust you make your business plan to look like, the more interesting it could be. Because uh, somebody wants to say, okay, where do you intend to go? So that's where your desired future optimal state is what we refer to as your vision. What do you want to look like in future? You want to look like the biggest business in northern Nigeria, or the biggest business in southern Nigeria, or in West Africa. You just write that and how you intend to go about that. So that's your vision statement, and that's the difference between a vision statement and a mission statement. Mission is your purpose, vision is where you want to be. All right, let's look at the other point now, which is right. Let's look at the other point, which is your your business concept. All right, for those of you that were in class when we're discussing Christopher, and we're also discussing was it Christina? Yeah, I think Christina and Christopher. If you look at it carefully, you see that both of them have different models. One model is to jack up the price and then give offer finance, offer credit. Whereas the other person is collects he doesn't jack up the price but collects his cash immediately. These are two different concepts. So you have to have a concept for your business. You want to see this concept. Concept is like your model, your strategy is how you go about it. Let me bring up another example. If you are going into taxi business, what do you need? You need to get taxis, you need to get drivers, you need to paint these taxis, and you deploy them after getting permission from the local authority. That's simple. The other one is also equally simple. You develop a platform like they have done in with Uber, Taxify, or Bolt, where you use your vehicle, you come, you just register your vehicle. You are also the driver. The Bolt only help you look for passengers. These are two different concepts, two different models, and strategy, but they are all under the taxi business. You need to also show your business concept. You need to show your strategy. Then the next one is we want to see your value proposition. Your value proposition is what are you proposing? What are you offering? What do you want to give that someone else is not giving? It's similar to proposing to a girl. What do you want to offer a girl when you say you want to marry her? That's what we are saying, asking you here. What are you proposing to these customers? What do you want to offer these customers? The four areas that you could easily offer something to customers include could be you are more efficient than the other customer, or even quality. Your quality is coming better than the other person, or maybe at a higher price. Who knows? Another one could be speed. Maybe you deliver faster than all other customers. And then the last one is cost. Maybe your product is lower in terms of maybe you have where you source it cheaper than other competitors. These are things that you can offer or you can propose as your value. So want to see them in your business plan. What's your business model? What's your concept? What's the strategy of how you're going about it? What value are you proposing? Okay. The next one is we also would like to look at your market analysis or competition analysis. Give us this summary. Summarize your market, what it will look like in the past, present, and future. Review things like possible changes in market share. Who is the leader? By the way, I said market share. And I said throughout this discussion, anytime we say market, we are talking about those that will buy from you, right? So who is going to buy from you is your market share. So who is going to buy this product is the market. But those buying from you is your market share. Those buying from the other person is their own market share. And then the leader is if most people are buying from a particular supplier, then that person is our leader. That person is the then all other people selling in the market will refer to them as players. And you are going to talk about market shift because today you might be a leader, tomorrow you may not. You are a good player, something might happen, and then talk about pricing, talk about competition, and all of that. That's what we want to see under market summary and competition. The next one is your competitive advantage. Very interesting to me. In fact, if you are not going home with anything, please don't forget what we define competitive advantage to mean. Competitive advantage is what do you have that your competitors may not have? Why must people buy from you? What is special about you? You need to develop your product or service in such a way that your competitors don't have that. How do you get there? You get there by using unique resources and core competence. When you combine these two together, your unique resources and your core competence, and when they are difficult to replicate by other people, and then you have a competitive advantage. I will implore all of you to sit down quietly, think through your business carefully, and see if you can develop a competitive advantage for your business by maybe some unique resources could be you have peculiar customer service, you have certain information people don't have, you're able to use your product in a particular way, or even you even have staff that can remember the names of all your customers. These are competitive advantage. And so try to develop any form of competitive advantage for yourself or your business. Okay. The next one is SWOT. SWOT. All right. Someone said there's no audio. There is no audio. Let me confirm from my end here if there's no audio. Uh, maybe it's your system. All right. Or your network, right? Or network. All right. We hope the network improves. This is from my end. Even if it's from your end, we just hope the network also improves. From our side here, we're receiving the technical team is saying the audio is good. Okay, the next thing is your SWOT analysis. You're going to do a SWOT analysis for us. SWOT is S for your strengths, W for your weaknesses, O for your opportunities, and then T for your threats. If you look at this carefully, it's divided into two sets. Your strengths and your weaknesses are peculiar to your business, whereas your opportunities and your threats are things that can happen to your business. Okay, let's look at the things that can happen to your business. Would it be wise for me to store my items in a warehouse, given what is happening recently? You could notice that that's a threat. Threat in the sense that if you put things in a warehouse, someone might assume that these are palliative materials and call other people to forcefully remove them. That's a threat. Other threats could be, what if you are importing items, the foreign exchange rate is to the naira to dollar is on the adverse side, prices of your spare parts, prices of the things that you want to import will be too high. These are threats. Okay, let's move it to the opportunity side. The opportunity side could be, okay, you are into agriculture and things that you can export. Now, a singular item that you are exporting now, you will be paid in dollars. And the dollar price is a market, an international market price. So in the international market, what you are getting for say $10, right? You're getting something for $10. If the exchange rate is 380 or 360, meaning you are getting 3,600. If the exchange rate is 450, you are now getting 4,500. Nothing in this environment has changed. Prices of things are almost similar. So you could now do something more than before. That's your opportunity. So these are factors that influence us externally. They could be political, they could be economical, like employment rate, interest rate. They could even be technological, they could be legal, all of them. Then internally, we come to internal issues now, which is our strength. What are our peculiar strengths? What we have that others don't, that's peculiar to us? Maybe it's our competitive advantage. Maybe it's our location. Maybe it's our capacity. These are our strengths. Whereas on the other side, our weaknesses could be maybe your staff, they're always resigning. Today they work for you for 2 months, they'll go. Another one will come, another one will go. Or sometimes your staff, they are not knowledgeable. Sometimes your staff don't want to even read the internet, or sometimes your staff don't want to even do social media at all. This could be your weakness. So we want you to do what? List them. Right strengths, list them. Right weakness, list them. Right opportunities, list them, and then your threats, list them. Another thing is your risk. Every business will face risk, as we earlier said. Because every business will face risk, we want you to do what? List your possible risk. Then profile this risk or analyze this risk into the possibility of them occurring and their impact. If this one should happen, it's going to impact us this month. And then the probability of it happening is 0.1, is 0.5, or is very high, like 0.9. People are coming to steal or something. After that, we have not seen your risk, the list, we've seen the profile. We want to see what you intend to do about how you address them. Are you going to provide insurance for them? Are you going to avoid them? Are you going to share your risk? Are you going to hedge them? Anything you want to do, write it there so that once you are being funded, somebody will know that this money is not going to get lost. All right, resource planning, which is about the last item. Under resource planning, which is number 6, we separated it into 2. The ones that have to do with resource planning material, resource planning finance, and then resource planning human resource. Resource planning for you could break it down into technology, into promotion, into distribution, or the product, or even how you deploy the whole enterprise. In terms of, okay, we are buying this equipment so time, so time, we are commissioning it so time, so time, and then we can test the product for a day or two, and then we believe that we'll start full production or full force business on so day. We want to see that plan. We also want to see your finance plan in such a way that we need 1 million in February. We also need another 4 million in April, because we need the 1 million to import the items. After 90 days, after say 30 days, we expect it to be here. So that's why we are needing 4 million to clear it and then deploy it and all of that. We need to see that in plan. And like I said, the other one is your human resource plan. We want to see your human resource plan. Your human resource plan should show us 4 things. First, we want to see an organogram, who your CEO is, who is reporting to your CEO, and who are the other staff that will be working with plus your other staff. We also would like to see vacant positions, places that or offices that will be occupied as the business expands. Number 2 is number 2. List the CEO and the key management. Let's have their list. Then by the side of their list, let's have their academic qualification. It's not very important. The next one is their experience. Very, very important. What experience have they had in this line of business? You don't just move somebody that has been a petrol fuel station dealer or who sells fuel. You don't move the person to a hotel business and you think that they are going to do the same thing. So we also want to see at the end, have they had any accomplishment, any peculiar thing that they have achieved? Write all of that for us so we can see that you have a robust team, or a team that is capable. Right, the last one is our financial projection. Our financial projection. Your financial projection outlines a high-level financial plan that defines your financial model and pricing assumption. The first thing there is the pricing assumption. Pricing assumption. You must show us your assumption. Assumptions, because you have not started the business. Recall, this is a plan. And so whatever you are telling us, most of them are based on some assumption. For example, you say you are going to sell your product, one of it to be sold for 15 naira. It's still an assumption. How did you arrive at 15 naira? What if you get to the market and then other variables make your price to go to 55 naira, or other force people drop your price to 40 naira? So during your projection, you write 50 naira, you give us the reason, you give us how you arrive at 50 naira. You say assume this, assume that. Your rent that you'll be paying For your office space, you write what you assume the rent to be because you have not gone to the market. You know that people are asking for maybe 1 million naira for office space or 1 million naira for warehouse space. Does not mean that when you get to the market, you definitely see for 1 million. You could see for 900, you could see for 1.5. So you write your assumptions there, how you arrive at 1 million. Those are the assumptions that we need to see. It is those assumptions that we use for your financial projection. All right. Okay, if you look at the screen, you will see a common sample of a business plan, the things that it should contain, or the things that we'll find in them. One, the executive summary, company description, product and service description. Then under the marketing plan, maybe SWOT analysis will come there. Competitor data collection will come there. Competitive analysis will also be there. Market expenses strategy, pricing strategy, distribution channel assessment, how you intend to get your product to your final consumer. We won't talk about the operational plan and then the risk analysis. Talk about management and organization, which we mentioned earlier, organizational chart. And then the last one is your financial plan, which is what we're discussing now. Recall that the details of your financial plan is going to be what will form the bulk of your appendices. Your appendices will have your detailed cash flow. Your appendices will have some of the pro forma invoices that you have collected. And even your appendices will have some extract from your feasibility study. You put them under the appendices. But for your financial projection or financial plan, which is the last item on this hour, which we are discussing, we will see a summary of your projected cash. You will tell us that, okay, in the year you are going to get cash flow of source of 3 million. You are going to spend like 2.5. You are going to use like 200 to buy asset. You are going to use this. And you are going to get this amount. You're going to write all of that for us in your financial plan. But the summary of how much you are getting, how you arrive at you get 3 million in a year is in your detailed cash flow. We are looking at the detailed cash flow, an example of a detailed cash flow shortly. That will be attached as your appendix. All right, cash flow records money flowing in and out of the business. Yeah, that's the cash flow definition. Why do this? To show investors that you are profitable, or to identify areas where the company could improve or identify potential problems. Because sometimes some payments occur annually, sometimes some payments occur quarterly. You have to show it. And when a payment occurs quarterly, not monthly, if you save enough cash for that particular thing to happen when the demand will come upon you. Then it's also to show investors that you're efficient. It's to show customers and suppliers that you still be around next week. Because some kind of suppliers will demand, let us see of this cash flow. That they'll be sure that you once you start supplying, you won't just go back and say you can't meet up. Right, we talked about assumptions before. We say projection must be tied to valid and logical assumptions. Yeah, the assumptions must be consistent with the business plan. Financial projections need to be consistent with the assumptions. That's the key one there. Right, some few definitions here. What's your income? As far as cash flow is concerned, any money that you receive, whether capital, whether from your sale of product, whether capital, the one you injected, or even the one you receive as loans, or anyone you receive even from the sale of your fixed asset. All of them are income or cash inflow. For the purpose of this definition, what we mean by income here is your cash inflow, about cash. All right, another one is the expenditure or your cash outflow. Cash outflow is payments that you make. You make payments for petrol, you make payments for wages, you make payments to buy stock so that you keep them, or you even go and buy a fixed asset. Those are those are those are some of the things that we'll see under your cash out. All right, the layout. We have about 3 layouts. If you are not familiar with your Excel, you could do them on paper. When you are done with them on paper, you can go back and transfer them into a Microsoft Excel. it should have columns and then you should have rows. The columns are for the first, the description, that's this one. Then the second column will be for periods. If you are doing it according to month, January, February. Then for your income or cash inflow, like we said, sales will be here, loan will be here. Addition of the two will give us your total income. So that's the first part of the layout. The layout, I said there are three sections. So this is the first section. Then we'll look at the second section. The second section is your expense, your outflow, expenditure section, or your cash outflow. Your here is it follows the same pattern, but the things that will be seen are things like purchases, wages, and then at the end you total them again. You can see an example here. Here we have figures for sales, loan. The total is 1,006. We have purchases, sorry. We have purchases 800. We have wages 400. Total is 1,2. And in February, the following month, we still have another set of events. Right, let's also look at the third. You see, this is the first cash inflow, cash outflow as expenditure. Look at the third part of the third layout. This is the third layout, which is the last. You see, it follows the same column, January. Here, we'll be dealing with the balancing figure. Let me describe what it should look like. It's like a tap, a bath. You open the tap, which is your cash inflow, and then you unplug the drain, is your cash outflow, and then the bath itself is this layout. What do you have in the bath? So what you have in the bath is a function of whether you open the tap or whether you unplug the drain. Okay, so you can see here that we have 1,006 as our total income. Sorry, we have a total expenditure 1,002, meaning we were left with 400 with the difference. Now, this 400 plus how much we started the business with give us 700. That is 400 plus 300 give us 700. So we'll start the following period with 700 that we have on hand. The issue here could be, what if we're not able to make 1,006? We made only 1,000 and we want to spend 1,002. So the other 200 we'll get it from where? These 300. We'll get the other 200, so we'll be left with 100. We'll move 100 to the next period. Another scenario could be, what if here is only 1,000 naira and then here is 1,005? How do we get the remaining? Because this is only 300, so we need 200 more. One thing you can do is to move that 200 to period 2, which is February. That's one option. However, if you keep moving all of this and then you keep getting negative balance as closing balance, then you need to question the business. Is it a feasible business? Why are we getting negative or 0 closing balance? The two things to do is either you have large opening balance to start with, to pushing that until the business starts properly, or you know that the business is not feasible. You have to go back to the drawing board again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We are done with the second section. We discussed feasibility study and feasibility report. We also just talked about your business plan. So we expect that you should be able to do your business plan on your own. Even if you'll be assisted at this time, you should be able to, when you look at the document, you should be able to understand what the document is all about. We also believe that this will be able to help you in your business, either for now or for the nearest future when you money for another kind of business. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, we can ask people to unmute themselves now, where you ask your questions or you send in your comments or you write your question on the chat and we can answer you. So by way of summary, this presentation will be put on the WhatsApp chat where you can download and go over them again if you want. And then for some of you that prefer listening to the voices, the YouTube link is also on the WhatsApp chat. You can go there, click on it, and you'll be able to hear whatever we have. So I'm up for questions now, either by chat or by voice. So we'll ask them to allow people to unmute themselves. Thank you very much for listening. So you can all unmute yourself now if you have any question to ask. If you don't, we will post the quiz at the end of this section. And if you can finish the quiz in the next 10 minutes, I will appreciate it. We'll post it shortly. Just type the quiz, answer them, and we'll see the answers from here. All right, if you go to your WhatsApp, you'll find the training the slide there, and you also find the YouTube link again. We will also put we have also put the quiz for you. So quickly click on the quiz, answer them, and then we'll see your scores here quickly. Just I don't expect it to take more than 8 minutes should suffice. 8 minutes is good. All right, best of luck. And I want to thank you all for listening. We'll be seeing your scores here. All right, gentlemen, like I said, we're looking at your scores. Please try and finish the quiz quickly before the next presenter comes in. The next presenter will soon kickstart. Once he's ready, the next presenter will soon start the section. So quickly finish your your quiz. Let me see what's the time at the moment. This 11:51. Maybe we should start the next section by 12, please. We will start the next session by 12. Thank you.